Natalie. Welcome to the Stride Sisters podcast. On today's episode, it's great to be back and settling into a biweekly cadence for the summer. After our news roundup, the main topic for today is a deep dive into Cool Kids Summer, which has kicked off at Walt Disney World. So, lace up your shoes, grab your floatie, and step into the magic with us. Tap, 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 tap. Is this thing on? It feels like it's been forever, when realistically it really hasn't. But, hi everybody. I'm excited and happy to be back. Again, it hasn't been that long, but it has been, I like to say it's like you live a million lifetimes in some of these periods of time. And this is kind of what it feels like. Things are busy. I'm kicked off my last month of Sculpt and Soar before getting into marathon training next month. Again, I was going to say third time's a charm, but this isn't my third marathon, but it's the third one that not really. I don't know. Third, like kind of full block sort of thing. I don't know. Rusty here, clearly, but it's good to be back and chitting and chatting and catching up on all the things, and I'm like almost ready to run again, maybe a little. So that'll be good to get back into that. But that's still a couple of weeks away. Since we all last chatted, I did get a Blister Brigade submission from April. She did 4 parks in one day on her trip back in May and got a blister from ripping around the parks that way. Not necessarily related though to, I have to love on her a little bit because she just did her first 10K recently. So go hype her up. She's awesome and super friendly, and I'm so excited for her. But anyway, her blister. I feel like I had to go back to the mid 2000s for this one and call her blister Pal Mickey. Now, if you don't remember what this was a little like doll that was like supposed to help like give facts about Walt Disney World and stuff. I always remember seeing it on resort TV and thinking like, oh, that's a really cool thing. But then I think I like am Pal Mickey for my family and most people around me. So never actually materialized because also like I knew what Pal Mickey knew. So I'd love to family feud Pal Mickey now that I think about it. So April, welcome to the Blister Brigade and welcome Pal Mickey to it. All right, gonna get into countdowns. And 142 days until Wine and Dine Half Marathon Weekend 2026. Proof of time deadline passed yesterday as of day of drop. So hopefully you got that in. If you're somebody who, again, has not had their charity link get to them, or you get a random bib later, just know that you will be able to put it a POT. Like you have to in order to check out, but you can't change it after. So you have to be right the first time, as I like to say. 218 days until Marathon Weekend 2027. The shirt deadline is coming on June 14th. So that's going to be before we all chat again. And so make sure that you go into your Run Disney account, double check that your shirt deadline or the shirt that you want is what you've put in. There is usually a shirt exchange at the expo, but it's kind of better to have it just right the first time, just because then you're somewhat contingent on if for whatever reason they all run kind of big or all kind of run kind of small, and you need to have another set of shirts to be able to exchange them, or they have to have them available. Just go ahead and double check that while you're at it. Proof of time deadline is about 2 months away. It'll come quick on August 3rd of 2026. So while we're thinking about it, you might as well just put it in. I actually only just recently put in my marathon weekend proof of time because I was looking at things when I was getting my club registration for Princess Half Marathon weekend. And I was like, I'm going to outsmart myself and I'm going to make sure that I get that in and done. Speaking of Princess Half Marathon weekend, today is general registration day. So if you're listening to this before registration, good luck. If you're listening to it during registration, also good luck. If you're listening to it after registration, hopefully you're celebrating. Yay. The proof of time deadline for Princess Half Marathon weekend is on October 1st, 2026. So plenty of time to get that rolling. And I'll let you know what the shirt deadline is when I know, but it wasn't actually part of that initial email that I got from Disney when I used my club registration to do the challenge. And then we have 317 days until Springtime Surprise Weekend of 2027. Club Run Disney registration also is coming in about 4 weeks on June 30th, and then general registration to follow on July 7th. Dun, dun, dun. So we're actually probably, I really hope that things time out well. It'll be okay if they don't. But for next recording, I have that we have the themes so I can talk about them. Otherwise, we'll just have to wait until June 30th. Unless there's like a Run Disney emergency. I would consider Paris races being announced for coming back. That would be a Run Disney emergency. Like that would be a emergency recording. From my lips to the mouse's ears. My lips, mouse's ears. I'm going to roll into Disney news. So starting off with, I feel like a big banger of the last week was the Carousel of Progress updates. The ride will have its final operating day on July 5th, 2026 to make way for new upgrades coming to the attraction. We did know this already, but a Walt animatronic is going to be added in. It's going to go in the opening sequence before the theater rotates. So it's like 1964 World's Fair-esque, which is a wonderful nod to the attraction, which initially debuted at the 1964 World's Fair. Now, this one's interesting. Every scene is going to be updated to a new decade. The first scene is going to be the 1960s, summer of 1969, just like the Bryan Adams song, with the moon landing, kind of precipice of the moon landing. The second scene is going to be in the 1980s, so 1985 Halloween, Bowling for Soup. And Sarah, the wife, is going to take center stage for the first time in the main scene instead of John, which is awesome. This is also where it was confirmed, because I'm sure everyone was wondering, where's Orville? Is Orville getting the yeet? He is not. The concept art still shows him in the bathtub. Don't worry. I'm going to continue going through the scenes, and then I have a joke for that. The third scene is going to be the New Year's Eve of 1999, which just on the cusp of the new millennium. And the finale scene is set very, very far ahead in the future. And there's only really one sketch that's been released publicly about it. So not really a whole lot. I think it's supposed to be kind of timeless to the extent it can be, based on the fact that, that stuff outdates quickly. So I have some thoughts. First of all, if I had a nickel for every time my Miles Madness bracket sort of like immediately outdated itself, like immediately kind of not predicted something, and that like we had Disney news about like not that long after, I'd have 2 nickels. But it's weird that it's happened twice. We're 2 for 2, right? The first one being that Disneyland races were going to go away after I was like, yeah, I set the bracket up so that it's, far in the future. This one being Uncle Orville, although he is going to remain in the bathtub, or just kind of that chatting about the about the animatronics, especially the ones in Carousel of Progress. Almost feels like a little present. On a serious note, I think it's going to be really interesting to see a complete change to the attraction. I'm warming up to the idea a little bit more. At first, I was a little less stoked. I'm like, wow, like I didn't know I went on Carousel of Progress as is for the last time, sometime over my race trips over the last year. That's kind of crazy when you think about it. And I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I think that I do enjoy and like that Carousel of Progress is getting the love, right? You don't invest in an attraction unless like you want to keep it around. So it's like obviously it's the nod to that, Walt's original creation while still being, they're gonna make it new. So maybe we are looking kind of down the pike at a Tomorrowland upgrade. I don't know, because we just saw Buzz get a lot of TLC that it deserved. Chef's kiss. We are now going to see Carousel of Progress go through a nice, like, lengthy refurb and, change to it. So maybe this is kind of the start to a Tomorrowland one, right? And we'll see something go into the carcass of Stitch, of where Stitch's Great Escape is. The People Mover also it went through a pretty lengthy retrack a couple of years ago. I was going to say like a year or two ago, and then I realized that it actually was probably a good 4-ish years ago at this point. Man, time is funny. Maybe Space Mountain will see some sort of a lengthy refurb. We got Tron. I don't know. Maybe this is going to be kind of like the zhuzh up that Tomorrowland could use. I'm a little less on that than a lot of people are of like Tomorrowland, because I kind of like it's like kitschy. I like that Tomorrowland's kitschy. And it's like Yestermorrow. I like that. That's the Tomorrowland of my childhood, obviously, but I kind of like the kitschy nature of it. Personally, it's never really bothered me that it's more Yesterdayland than anything, but anywho, speaking of something else that's Yestermorrow-y, kind of, sort of, the magic of Disney animation is coming to Disney's Hollywood Studios later this summer. So some stuff has already opened on May 26th, so just last week. The Walt Disney Studios Courtyard and Mickey Mouse Clubhouse Live are already open. There are more experiences that are coming when the full thing opens. The concept art looks pretty darn cool, like nice little maze back there. And if you're confused as to where this is, it's where Star Wars Launch Bay used to be. So near Voyage of the Little Mermaid, kind of keep going back that away. There's a big hat there. So that helps. I'm going to go through the different experiences there. Drawn to Wonderland, which is an immersive Alice in Wonderland themed indoor playground. The concept art looks so cool for that. And all this is going to come later this summer. It says late summer, so that's, to me, I would imagine right around mid-August, if I had to guess. If not, like right before Labor Day, if I were a betting person. Off the page, which is character meets that are going to take you through the different stages of animation. So you'll see like there's all these different ones, which is kind of cool. Story, where you might see Mulan. Layout, Rapunzel. Hand-drawn animation, Chip and Dale. Computer animation, Donald and Daisy. Lighting, Goofy, and effects, Stitch. So I think that the concept here is that they might also see like varying stages of being. So like lighting, like might be like Goofy in like a different type of form. I think it's great to have a consolidated area for a lot of character meets too, especially, having different places to meet Mulan, Rapunzel, Chip and Dale, especially in the AC. Absolutely in the AC. That sounds fantastic, especially if you have little ones. Next is Olaf Draws, which we did get some announcements about over the last couple of months. There's an animatronic Olaf that'll help you draw guided by, and like there'll be some Disney animation artists through recorded tips. So I'm going to go through the different animation experiences that you can go through. Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck, Genie, Moana, Stitch, Olaf, Ursula, and Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde. I think this is awesome. I actually never did the animation experience as it was over at Animal Kingdom, which I'm going to get to that in a little bit, over at Conservation Station. So I believe these are all kind of different experiences that we're looking at, were different characters to draw. I feel like used to hear a lot about Scar or Kaa from Jungle Book as the animation experiences there. I do wish that it was still a live performer that was guiding you through it versus it being recorded, but some of the voice people that they have recording it are also pretty cool. So Dan Abraham, who directed Once Upon a Studio, is going to help you with the Mickey Mouse drawing. Speaking of, the last piece of this is the Once Upon a Studio Theater, which is an Emmy Award-winning short film. If you haven't checked it, it was released for Disney 100. So if you haven't seen that yet, you'll be able to, again, in AC. And in a little art gallery in there, which, again, it's really cool. I kind of like that it's almost a back to the roots thing. Like, yes, this isn't like a full-blown, we're making it a working animation studio again, right? That's not exactly, or working even like kind of prop studio. But I do like that we're looking back and seeing things as they were. Next piece of news, Art of Animation is getting a hard goods refresh for the first time since opening 15 years ago, which again, that really I was like, yeah, Art of Animation's like, I don't know, maybe like nine-ish years old. No, 15. It'll come in summer of 2027. The Little Mermaid rooms are getting a Murphy bed. And as a sommelier of a Murphy bed, let me tell you, I'm so excited about this. It is nice if you are, just a twosome and then you are sharing a bed, your spouse, whatever, and you can have all that space like from the Murphy bed, because currently it is 2 full beds instead, or that, it's nice to have that extra space if you're not going to use the other bed. And the exact dates and timelines are not known as of recording. I did look on the My Disney Experience app and on the website, and all it did was tell me about the Skyliner being down for annual maintenance. When I looked into like kind of, basically the red text in the, when you go to book for Art of Animation. So when I know, you'll know. Or contact your travel agent. I'm not one of them, but there's plenty of wonderful ones out there, especially in the Run Disney community. Bluey's Wide World virtual queue did end yesterday. So as of today, day of release, you can now join a traditional standby queue to go meet Bluey and Bingo at Conservation Station. Huzzah. Exciting that it's transitioned to a more traditional queue. All right, I'm going to roll into the Disney fun fact. On June 2nd of 2002, Epcot's new Journey into Imagination with Figment is dedicated. Compared to the first 2 versions, this version has the most Figment, with him appearing in every show scene. So either you're delighted or horrified at that, and I'll let you decide who you are. Mr. Natalie? I think actually, I don't know if he's delighted or horrified to see it's the most Figment ever, because I think he would just want the most Python ever, with Eric Idle, of course. That's probably what he wants, more so than the little purple dragon. Almost called him something different that I was going to have to beep out. Oh boy. Oh doggy. Anyway, gonna roll into the main topic of the show this week. So, it's funny because I don't think I have any plans to actually participate in Cool Kids Summer, but I felt like there was a lot of really good stuff going on down in the House of the Mouse. And that, kind of a nice, like, succinct wrap up, not that I'm a succinct person, would be good to have. If you are planning, if you're going with your family, if you are planning on doing a last minute trip, which that would be the circumstance in which I participate in Cool Kids Summer, there is a pretty sweet annual pass holder magnet right now, but I must behave, probably, most likely. Have I mentioned that just sidebar before I get into this. Something I do at the end of a travel season is I like steam clean the suitcase. Like I put it away. And let me tell you, the steam cleaner, she's been booked and busy, right? I steam cleaned the suitcase, like dried it out. It's away for a little while. It's definitely as much fun as I've had traveling. It has been good to just be home and be in one spot and not be in and out of a suitcase. Again, this will be really funny when I make a decision and go, yeah, I'm going to do a weekend trip or something. Anywho, but it's kind of just one of those like reset moments too, right? Like I cleared out, not only did I steam clean, I obviously had to clear it out. So all of the like little bobs and bits and nicks and knickknacks and stuff that, there's some stuff that does like live in the suitcase, right? Your extras, your spares. This going into a little bit more of a travel tip thing, but I did get like clear out, the costume stuff away, the glitter. I still have some on my desk because I like to play with it. And plus I can't be too far away from glitter. Glitter is glitter. Glitter is wonderful. Check out Miles Shimmer. Anyway, a little bit of a tangent there, but anyway, I'm not really planning on being down in the house this summer, but there's a lot of cool stuff going on down there that kind of does tempt me a little bit. A lot of good deals, stuff for pass holders. I love that they do like the summer pass holder days. It actually is kind of fun. It's super fun. You kind of just like feel special and whatnot, especially I'm somebody who I renew my annual pass in the summer. So my expiration date is over the summer. So it's kind of one of those like, ooh, this is why I AP. I AP because it's more cost effective at the end of the day. However, for me, based on my traveling habits, we can just pretend that it has something to do also with this. Without further ado, let's get on with the show. So Cool Kids Summer at Walt Disney World began on May 26th and runs through September 8th of 2026. So it is afoot, it is rolling, and there's plenty to do and see with Cool Kids Summer all summer long. So still got 3 months of it to enjoy. Something that's great is that both water parks are open this summer, and Disney Resort hotel guests can enjoy a free water park admission day on their check-in day. So that benefit returns for the summer, not a year-round benefit anymore, but it returned for the summer. And I feel like an often asked question is, you do get it for if, say, you're doing a split stay, if you have Disney Vacation Club, you're switching hotel rooms, or say that you check in one day, you added a night, add-on-itis, away from the Disney Vacation Club thing, but you just, had to get or wanted to get in a little early, but then you're switching to a different resort. You do get it on both check-in days. So since both water parks are open, for a standard check-in day, so say you are, not switching hotels and you're just, you check in, you're staying 4 nights or something. You can go to one water park on that day. You can't hop between them. So pick your poison or your favorite. I kind of have my own pros and cons with the water parks. I like them. I do like them both. But say that you are split staying. You're 2 nights at Pop Century before you go over to the Riviera for the rest of your stay. You can go on both check-in days, which is pretty sweet. So you can check out Typhoon Lagoon one day and Blizzard Beach the other day. Great on my end. I'll say, if you've never been to the water parks before, the Blizzard Beach, I'd say, is a little bit better for your slide enthusiasts. There are some great slides at Typhoon Lagoon, but I'd say that's kind of a little bit more of, I like the slides there a little bit better. There's the chairlift to take you up to the top. There's Summit Plummet, which is the gigantic water slide out there. And I'd say that one's a little bit better for your slide. If you like a good wave pool, Typhoon Lagoon is your place. Absolutely 100%. They have the gigantic wave pool. Can even be overwhelming for the strongest of swimmers, of which I would consider myself one. And not overwhelming to the point where I've ever felt in danger, but like the waves will get you. And it's so fun to like swim into them if you're a strong swimmer. I Again, you can't really go wrong with whatever you choose. I've heard the food is a little bit better at Typhoon Lagoon. I gotta say, the times I've eaten at Blizzard Beach, I was pleasantly surprised with what I got and what I was able to enjoy there. At the quick service, they do have mobile order there. Last time I went to Typhoon Lagoon was in 2023, where my buddy Travis and I basically like opened and closed Typhoon Lagoon. We just bulled around. We just kind of mostly just sat like chit-chatting, had the pineapple ciders flowing with they do have the kind of like the Run Disney beer cups. They do have reusable cups. They'll issue a cup if you buy a drink at the beginning of the day. And they do have like kind of like your like for soda and pop. But I mean, the beer cup, if you buy it and then your refills are a little bit discounted. I have never been able to bring my cup back successfully because they do change colors and such, but maybe one of these days. Anyway, they did have pineapple cider at the time though. So your good old Run Disney Caribe pineapple cider. But that was over 3 years ago, which what is time? And that could be kind of stale information. So check with your local bartender there. I have gotten the pineapple cider also at Blizzard Beach. Enough on the water parks. Definitely, again, it's definitely worth checking out, especially if it's included on your check-in day. Fly down if you don't want to spend a whole park day or, have a park ticket on a day that might be a partial day because you have to fly in or drive in and such. Definitely a good way to spend the day. Then go to a nice dinner after or... Yeah, definitely recommend a good old day at the water parks. I guess I haven't been in a minute because I didn't add it to my pass last year and then it was this past year, but it's been a little minute. I'm going to probably convince myself to come down by the end of this episode for all the fun things. Mr. Natalie screams in the background. Okay. I talked about this earlier in the general news segment, but I'm going to roll into Animal Kingdom next in terms of what we have for specifically for Cool Kids Summer. I'm going off of the Disney website and going through the things that they have listed there. So, Bluey's Wide World at Conservation Station. It's been open since May 26th. There's Bluey and Bingo fun games with Keepy Uppy and Magic Asparagus. Bluey is a little bit past my time and I do not have the children to do it, but I hear a lot about Keepy Uppy, so I hear that is an exciting thing. And there is still the different animal care areas where you can learn about animal care at Animal Kingdom. The animal hospital or the veterinary treatment room and stuff is still back there. So even though Bluey has taken over, you can see some Australia animals back there as well, which is super exciting. There's different Bluey merchandise that is out. There's a Bluey sipper. And throughout Animal Kingdom, there's some Bluey inspired food and beverages. So at Pizza Safari, there's a fairy bread cake, which is a take on an Australian treat. It's like a vanilla birthday cake dipped in white chocolate and rainbow sprinkles with the raspberry dipping sauce. Ooh, that sounds actually pretty good. There's a Wackadoo fruit freeze as well, which honestly looks like a great thing for a hot day. Pizza Safari is also where you'll see that Bluey sipper. It says limit 2 per person per transaction, aka behave yourselves. There's also Bluey's Berry Lemonade. Say that 5 times fast. Which is frozen Minute Maid lemonade blended with flavors of blueberry, blackberry, and raspberry. And it's also available at 8 Spoon Cafe. At the Isle of Java on Discovery Island, there's Pretzels, which is soft mini pretzels with homemade cheese and blueberry mustard sauces. Ooh, blueberry mustard sounds really good. And there's going to be some Bluey magic shots from PhotoPass. 3 of them on the pathway between Africa and Asia, which is really excited. Got Bluey and Bingo, got Bluey and a butterfly, and then Bluey and Bingo also in little granny costumes. So, a lot of Bluey. I'm sure that if you have kids who watch Bluey, if you are an adult who shamelessly enjoys Bluey as well, alongside your kids, I'm sure this is a fantastic addition, getting to meet Bluey and Bingo also all summer long at Animal Kingdom. I think it actually is a great addition as well, as we're, anxiously awaiting the Tropical Americas updates over where Dino Land used to be. And other than that, Disney website does list Zootopia because it's really not all that old of a show. It's been around about 6 months at this point. So if you haven't gotten a chance to see that quite yet, that is something you could do. Gonna roll on in to Disney's Hollywood Studios. So, kind of like I mentioned before, Disney Junior Mickey Mouse Clubhouse Live is open. Party at the Clubhouse. And I am not going to get copyright striked by singing the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse theme song or burn your eardrums off. You're welcome. Anyway, that is open for littles. And I have very fond memories of being a kid where it used to be the Disney Junior live on stage and the Bear in the Big Blue House show. Mm-hmm. Very fond memories of being a kiddo and going to that. My younger brother especially really, really enjoyed that. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the Muppets, of course. Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets opened also on May 26th, and I've been trying to stay spoiler-free as much as possible, but also a couple things have gotten through my radar, and everything looks great. I can't wait. Again, I'm really trying to stay spoiler-free, but the little peeks at the queue that I've seen, the Statler and Waldorf animatronics, I'm excited. I'm so excited to get to go on Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets again. And, it was a long, almost whole year without Muppets in the parks. So I welcome my puppet overlords back into my life as if they ever left. And just kind of being back in that area again. So there is the new missions on Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. Say that 5 times fast. There are new missions on Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run with the Mandalorian and Grogu. And I'm excited for this as well. I actually haven't heard too many reviews besides that if you're the engineer, you are balling. You have a lot more you have a much more important role now on Smuggler's Run. So I am excited to check that out. I'm excited to kind of hear some more feedback about what the new missions are and how the ride has changed. I will say, I did enjoy the previous iteration of it. I kind of sometimes liked just vibing back there as engineer, if I'm being honest with you, of just like checking out what was going on. And maybe I was a gunner the first time I ever rode it, actually. But then I frequent the single rider line. So you're pretty much guaranteed to be a gunner or engineer, or if it's absolutely the last, very end of the night, maybe you'll get pilot. Maybe. If they're just trying to kind of, complete end of the night, that's really, really rare. Anywho, or if somebody just doesn't want to be the pilot. Anyway, I kind of like just kind of taking in what's going on and the story and stuff. So I don't really mind having a less active role in the back because it's cool to just watch and look around the Falcon and, press your buttons when you need to, but that's it's exciting. I like a little refresh. That's another thing that it's crazy how quote unquote old it is because it's Galaxy's Edge in August will have been open 7 years. That much time has not passed, right? At Disneyland, it already has celebrated the 7th-year anniversary. That's nuts. Absolutely nuts. Because it still is so new and fresh, and then also, but it's not at the same time. Rolling into Magic Kingdom, Big Thunder Mountain reopened in the last month or so. Buzz Lightyear reopened in the last month. But some of the things that we have that are completely new for Cool Kids Summer is Jesse's Roundup which is a rip roaring review, is over at the Diamond Horseshoe for its nice Toy Story inspired hoedown of family fun. Now, this is also in celebration of Toy Story 5, which comes out in just a couple of weeks, which is absolutely crazy. Man. And Jesse's Roundup is going to have an interactive show with dancing, crafts, music, and lots of high energy fun, which I think it's, again, A, AC break. B, I think it's great to use that space for something a little different too, with, a nice little show. I'm sure that it'll be great for great for kind of kids and kids of all ages, I should say, to be involved. I love whenever you get to see Bullseye around. Bullseye is probably one of my favorite character meets ever. Probably because I had the most spectacular Bullseye encounter back in 2023. I guess that's that's our nostalgia bubble right now is 2023, which that does not feel old enough to be nostalgic. Now we're going to go on over to Epcot, and I would be remiss if I did not talk about Goofy Core at Epcot. So in Communicore Hall, the highly controversial, I suppose, Communicore Hall, there is a whole area for Goofy Core. So there's a wacky works of Goofy's game machine at Goofy Core and Communicore Hall this summer. Got DJ Dance Pants and Goof Troop as they help Goofy lead the fun. So actually it was like a really fun little area last year. I didn't really go inside. I kind of stepped inside, but then I'm like, this is like a playground area for children. And I did not go in much further to it, but it did look really cute in there. Again, AC. But I remember there was the Grab and Goof stand too. That was right outside, kind of like the Festival Favorites area. That was right near Communicore Hall. There's Just Bear Chicken Nuggets. So if you have nice kid-friendly things, there's a Goofy's Gone Fishing Sipper, which is Goofy and Max. And honestly, it looks so stinking cute. It's got like a blue raspberry lemonade with like fruit juice pearls, and like you get like fish or shark gummy candies. There's a Goofy's Gone Sipping. Man, Goofy's Gone Fishing. It's the same drink without the sipper thing, but I think the sipper is so stinking cute. There's a Mac snack as well. It's a fried macaroni and cheese with marinara dipping sauce. There's Worms Everywhere cake. So it's all kind of nice, like kid-friendly things at the Grab and Goof area. And is great, really. Especially for kids. Kind of going on to other new things for the summer. Soarin' Across America opened on May 26th to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States. And this is another one. Am I just like spoiler doing myself or something? But this is another thing that I haven't heard all too many reviews about, which I'm going to try to keep it spoiler free as much as I can. But Soarin' Across America is around. So if you want to see a refreshed version of Soarin' that it celebrates the different landscape in America and the heart and spirit of the nation, you can do so. Frozen Ever After, I will only bring up because we have the refreshed animatronics as well. And also Test Track reopened in summer of 2025 for Test Track 3.0, as we all call it. And that's pretty nice. So all kinds of things. I hope you're getting amped up for your summer trip. I'm going to actually kind of go and take a little bit of a departure from Cool Kids Summer and talk about annual pass holder things. So we have VIP pass holder summer days. There are exclusive meet and greets at the Magic Eye Theater, which is where the Disney and Pixar Short Film Festival is in World Celebration in Epcot. And it says for Mickey Mouse's Best Pals. So from May 1st through July 31st, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., go to that theater for exclusive pass holder meet and greets during VIP pass holder days. There is some increased discounts at select restaurants. So it's Monday through Thursday or only, but there's some different ways to save. So at the following restaurants, you can get 20% off from Monday to Thursday. So Be Our Guest for lunch and the Crystal Palace for lunch and dinner. 20%. Pretty nice. So 40% of the following restaurants, again, Monday through Thursday. Got 3 at Epcot, Beer Garden, lunch only, Coral Reef, dinner only, Garden Grill for lunch and dinner. Then we have Hollywood and Vine at Hollywood Studios for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Tiffin's for dinner only, and Tusker House for lunch and dinner, both of which are at the Animal Kingdom. Boatwright's Dining Hall for dinner only, which is at Port Orleans Riverside. Cape May Cafe, which is at the Beach Club for dinner only. Toledo, which is dinner only at Coronado Springs. And Whispering Canyon Cafe for brunch and dinner. The new ones to the list were Beer Garden and Garden Grill for this discount for 2026. I brought up the pass holder magnet earlier, but there is a Woody and Buzz pass holder magnet that is available at Epcot from May 1st through July 31st. And speaking of Epcot, there is a pass holder lounge, which is in Restaurant Marrakesh in the Morocco Pavilion. It's open from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily, subject to change. It's a nice area, air conditioned, complimentary snacks, water, Moroccan mint tea, nice pass holder button, nice little magic shot there. It's pretty sweet back there, especially, again, a place to, if you're a pass holder, to just kind of vibe out in the cool AC in the middle of your fun park day. And there's going to be a limited time DisneyStore.com discount, so 20% off select products at the Disney Store. That's available through June 21st. All right, back to Cool Kids Summer. I want to wrap up with some of the different offers that are available. Again, I'm not a travel agent, but there's plenty of wonderful people who are. But I'm just going to go over. So if you have a travel agent that you're working with, a Disney travel agent, they usually can apply a discount to your ticket or to your package. So reach out to them so that they do that. I'm not going to pretend I know the specifics there, just of what deadlines and stuff are, but it's always worth an ask if you qualify for any of these discounts, and you might as well ask. There is the 4-day, 4-park magic ticket this summer, which starts at $109 per day plus tax. So you get to experience all 4 theme parks with the ticket, and 1 admission per theme park, and then 1 park per day. So you'll go to Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, across 4 different days. There's also some different room deals as well. There's two of them that are both up to 30% on rooms at select Disney Resort Collection hotels for stays of 5 nights or more. So again, if you are working with a travel agent, or you can go in and see if you can apply this kind of a deal to your already pre-booked package if you aren't working with a travel agent. If you're a Florida resident, you can get a 4-day ticket for $65 a day plus tax from 4 different park visits from May 17th to October 3rd, 2026. And there's also 2-day and 3-day tickets also available. Disney Plus perks. There's a summer room offer as well for 2-night or longer stays, most nights from June 21st to August 15th, 2026. And finally, I'm going to go into the stuff at the resorts for the summer. At Art of Animation, Caribbean Beach, Pop Century, and Port Orleans Riverside, there are some scheduled character appearances specifically for Cool Kids Summer. And there's different activities, entertainment, etc., pool parties, but definitely you're going to see some special meet and greets at those specific resorts, which are super exciting. I think I've covered just about everything there is to cover for Cool Kids Summer. Again, it sounds like a lot of fun. So if you and your family are going down for the summer and we'll check out some of the limited time offerings. That's awesome. We are living in dyed Epcot land, so the Flower and Garden Festival has concluded. And there's definitely some different little things. They're going to sweep under the booths, some of them, over the summer. And definitely a great way to go enjoy different offerings from Walt Disney World and, have a great summer vacation. I feel like I'm a teacher, like kind of like releasing you or something. But no, I think that I like that they do these different events. Summer is toasty. Summer, you do deal with rain and, once hurricane season kind of starts, or that 3:00 shower. So if you are traveling down to Walt Disney World, pack your electrolytes for one, pack your patience, but also kind of, pack a little bit of rain gear because there pretty much is a nice little afternoon shower most days. And then kind of on with the day, it will be hot. So pack your sunscreen, that's for sure. And enjoy. And if you're kind of getting back into the swing of training and stuff, enjoy that too. I know I always say that it all comes fast. Life moves pretty fast. Thank you, Ferris Bueller. But it all comes fast. And if you're not quite training yet, enjoy the next couple of weeks of not officially training for stuff. Do those things you like to do. And it will be all back and, doing our Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, or Saturdays for, again, soon enough. Bye. See you again in 2 weeks. If you enjoy listening to the show, please leave a review and a 5-star rating. I love reading your reviews out loud. You might even be featured on a future podcast episode. There is a community spotlight on the Instagram at Stride Sisters Podcast. If you want to be featured for a Medal Monday, Finish Line Friday, or any accomplishment you want to celebrate, send a picture via the social media platforms or the email. And to continue the fun, join the Facebook page. All the ways to connect can be found in the show notes. Thanks for listening. Until the next adventure, wishing you endless miles of magic and memories. See you next time.